Hi, I'm Monica Garcia, President of the Los Angeles Board of Education. Welcome to Families Matter. Joining me each month is my co-host, Maria Casillas, the Chief of School, Family, and Parent Community Services. Our goal is to provide information so families can help their children graduate. Joining us later will be Dr. Jaime Aquino, the new Deputy Superintendent of Instruction. Maria, today's a big day. We've got a lot of work to do.
A lot of work to do. Our kids just have to achieve.
Yes, and you talk to parents a lot. You're focused on helping the board reach its goal of engaged parents and families at every school. What do you hear parents want from LAUSD?
Well, we've always heard parents anywhere they are, but in particular in LA Unified because it's so big and sometimes their voices get drowned out. But they care about their kids. They want their kids to do well in school. They want to help their schools, help their children. They want success for the future for their children. So if that's what we want and that's what they want, then we can think about a real authentic partnership with our parents.
And we talked about, we want to talk about the role of parents and families in supporting kids so that they can be effective. And I heard you talk about the dream of each parent that we have to tap into, right?
Absolutely, because what we know about parent engagement is that when that parent is in the home, really aspiring for their children's future, really dreaming very big for their future, then they're very connected to their kids. Then they know how to navigate the system on their behalf, even if they don't speak English, even if they've had a very limited opportunity for a formal education. That love that they have for their child sort of carries them. It boosts their energy, if you will, so that they can become partners and do the right thing for their kids. And in so doing, what we want schools to know is that the schools themselves will improve because parents support them, because parents have that kind of power and that influence.
And
very exciting.
It is exciting. It is exciting, and I think that's where LAUSD is moving towards, making sure that every school is a place where parents can come to. Every school is a place that, as we think about how do we help reach more students, that we're trying to reach out and include more and more families, because we're always having a few people come, but we need more people to come.
Yes, and you know, that's what I would like for parents to know. They can't leave the role of parenting to anybody else. They are their child's first partner in education, and they are their child's first teacher in education. So this is a lifelong role that a parent and a child will have. And so parents can't just give that up. Now, sometimes they do because they're not feeling too welcomed in the schools. So what the school has to do is really go out of their way and say to parents, we embrace you, we want you, we need you. And once they're in the door, then parents have to learn about their rights and their responsibilities. And you know, for all the rights that they have inside the school, the strongest is to advocate for their child. The strongest is to learn, how do I do my job at home so that my child reads at grade level, so that my child is mastering, you know, math, is getting along with people, is doing all the right things that is going to help my child mature and develop into a normal and successful adult. Yeah. That's what we want.
This is where we're so aligned with families. And so I heard you say, one, the love that a parent has for that child is one of the strengths that we have to bring into our school. And then knowing that the parent is an advocate and that children with support at home do better in school.
Absolutely. The child who arrives at school without a fully empowered parent at home is like sending a child into an ice cream parlor without any money to buy ice cream, and all they can do is watch. So we want that child to arrive fully empowered and confident that mama y papa, our mother and father, are all there for us, that we're a family, that learning is a family matter, that achievement in our home is something that we want to value. So when we talk about parent engagement, we also talk about helping parents cultivate this culture of high achievement in their home, and make sure that that same culture of high achievement is going on in their school. And that way there's a seamless transition from home to school, and that's what makes this kind of marriage and partnership work so well.
And let's just be clear, you're not talking about only early ed or elementary school.
Oh no, I'm talking about middle and high school as well, because I'll tell you, my children are grown, and it doesn't end. Parenting never ends. And it really, if you've done your job well in the early years, when they're in preschool, kindergarten, throughout the elementary years. The middle school and high school years, while very challenging, your children will challenge you. The school structure challenges you, but that's when parents need to be even more engaged, because that's when our kids are more fragile. They are more susceptible to all the things that we may not know about as well. They Twitter, they tweak, God knows what else they call these things, but they do it all the time. And parents just sort of watch. They're like, we're sort of passive about that. We need to be integrated into their lives. And our children need to reserve a place for us. And they will not reserve a place for their parents if the parents sort of step back and say, ay, pues hay ustedes. So we need them even more in those years.
We do need the parents. And I think we all know in our personal lives that voice of whoever was that person who pushed you, whoever was that person who expected something from you. I know for me, it's that voice of my mom's, sí, mijita, sí puedes. And my mom always expected us to do the best we could. My mom always said, of course you can find a way. And so that little voice of inspiration and expectation is something also that every kid, right? Every kid has. And we have to help that be about reading and writing and focused on homework, focused on the papers, focused on whatever the task is today.
And that's really when we talk about families have strengths, they have assets that contribute to learning. That's exactly what we're talking about. A family has a way of saying, sí, mijito, you can become anything you want. And because we love them and we've nurtured them all the way through whatever grade they're in, that child trusts and believes in us. Now imagine if mom is saying this, if dad is saying this, and the teacher is saying this. The music teacher, the coach is saying this. Yes, try harder. Make those legs and that brain harder, right? Make them work harder. Then our child is surrounded by nothing but support, high expectations with love. Sometimes love has to be a little tough and a little bit of challenge to children. But we can't forget that we've got to push them just a little bit more, because life is pushing all of us just a little bit more in the 21st century.
That's absolutely true. And isn't it amazing that in Los Angeles, regardless if we're 92 languages or we come from over 100 countries, that when you think about the family and when you think about that relationship between the child and the parent, or the family and the child, that we're really on a universal plane here.
Absolutely. Every country, whether it's a primitive society, a highly technological society, wherever you are in space called the world, has a love for their children. Little animals, little birds nurture their children until they're ready to go on their own, right? And we as human beings that have intellect and the power to think and to embrace thought as a concept that happens, you know, not just alone, but in content with other people. We have that power to influence our children.
Yes, yes, we do. And here at LAUSD, at the second largest school district in the country, we know we have assets in our families, and we know part of our work is to find more ways for parents and families to be involved, to know how to help their children. And I'm so excited that we're going to be joined by our Deputy Superintendent.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be right back with Deputy Superintendent of Instruction, Dr. Jaime Aquino.
Through nutrition education, mentoring, and the poster contest, which we're celebrating tonight, we wanted to encourage our students in leadership and creativity. Healthy Schools campaign successfully reached over 28,000 students this last spring to raise awareness about nutrition and fitness in over 700 LAUSD schools.
These are the children who created the winning posters to communicate healthy messages in nutrition and physical activity. Through the Healthy Schools campaign, we were able to get lessons to all of the kids in 700 schools, in all of the after-school programs, and through the nurses at the schools. So we had lessons to teach about healthy eating and the importance of physical activity. That was during the first week, and then in the second week, the children created posters to promote the healthy messages that they learned.
We like a lot of fruits, so we decided to make an apple that that can inspire us how to eat real healthy and how to play hard.
You can visit our website at www.sosmentor.org. You can email us. We will have all kinds of nutritional information up on the website in English and Spanish, and we want you to become a part of our healthy community.
Welcome back to Families Matter. Joining us now is Dr. Jaime Aquino, Deputy Superintendent of Instruction, to help us highlight the important role that families play in their child's education. Welcome, Dr. Aquino. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you, thank you. I'm delighted to be in LA in this new role and joining both of you in this journey of transforming all our schools and making them into places of academic excellence. And I love the name of your show, Family Matters, because it truly takes a village to raise a child, and family and parents are a key element in making sure that all kids are successful. So I'm looking forward to working with all of you.
And you know, the board's goal of 100% graduation definitely sees engaged parents and families, and that's why we're thrilled that Maria Casillas is leading that reform in the district, helping every school be a place where families can come to learn how to support their kids. What would you tell us about the role of parents and how they can be helpful?
Well, the role of parents is essential. We're not going to be able to achieve the goal, the noble goal, and the right goal that you have set if parents are not partners. And one of the things I would say to parents is that their first responsibility is to love their children. That is essential. And to find time to praise them, because their kids are doing some wonderful, wonderful things. The reason I say that is because I remember reading once that a high school dropout wrote that when he does something well, no one ever remembers. But when he does something wrong, no one ever forgets. So we need to make sure that parents are there to praise and see the wonderful things that the kids are doing and the potential that they have.
That's so important. We were talking earlier about that building on that energy, on that emotional investment that parents give every child. And Maria.
Right. Well, I think what Jaime is saying is absolutely true, because when we send our children to school, we expect that teachers in some way act as a parent. Yeah. They're sort of in charge. Yeah. And that's the first thing you learn when you're going to be a teacher, is look for the good and help them correct whatever is not so good. I don't want to call it the bad, but recognize. And you know, we were talking at one point, I worked with Jaime, he's our partner, and I remember talking a little bit about hearing from parents only when things go wrong at the school. So if we want parents to come into the school, two things have to happen. Parents have to know that they have a role to play, not only when things are wrong, so that we can go in and praise the school as well, and praise our children at the school, and so that our children know that we're partners, but also have a role as advocates for their children when things are not going well. But parents cannot only be seen and not heard, nor should they only be seen when something went wrong.
You're absolutely
right. So I think that it applies to parents as well.
You're absolutely right, Maria.